Downed trees, damaged homes. They're saying more outages than the ice storm of '98. Hi, I'm Blake Lipton. Crews still on scene of this house fire in Northport, working to demolish it after it started Sunday night around 7 p.m. While these red flags may be easier for you or me to detect, Maine seniors are much more susceptible to these kinds of scams. Well, debris from Friday evening's car crash that killed one person and hurt two others can still be found here on Route 200 in Eastbrook. It's day 3 and John Williams is still at large. Good morning, I'm Blake Lipton. Police still searching for 29-year-old John Williams of Madison after he allegedly shot and killed a Somerset County Sheriff's deputy. But first today, Hurricane Florence makes a disastrous landfall on the North Carolina coast. Kristen Westra vanished late Sunday into Monday, and police say they still don't have any leads. A nationwide tour targeting a, quote, war on health care made a stop in Bangor Monday afternoon. As Kelly Mitchell explained, cities are required by state law to keep these kinds of records in good shape.
Michael was so loving in his actions. If you asked him to do something, he would jump right to and help out anyone.
Tonight, an ABC 7 and Fox 22 exclusive. We sit down with the parents of Michael Ukai, one of the 20 people killed in Saturday's deadly limo crash in upstate New York, and take a look back on his life. We hope you'll join us tonight.
It was a scam and I was hooked into it, really.
Phone calls, emails, items sent through the mail, all to get their hands on senior citizens' money.
Got taken for about $6,000 just that morning before I got there.
Tonight, what to look for, how to avoid being scammed, and how we can be proactive in protecting Maine's elderly.
Senior Scams, tonight at 6 on ABC 7 News.
28,000 feet in the sky with the maniacs of the 101st Air Refueling Wing. I'm Blake Lipton showing you what goes down in a refueling mission.
Refuel, tonight on ABC 7 News.
He's my baby. I can't even say what I'll miss most.
Mary and Kyle Ashton, the parents of former Marine Corps veteran Michael Ukai, mourning the loss of their son.
It's like we go from crying to anger to crying back to anger to lost.
He was such a good boy.
Michael was one of the 20 killed in the deadly limousine crash in upstate New York Saturday. Authorities describing it as the country's deadliest transportation accident in nearly a decade. The day of the crash was Michael's 34th birthday. The Ashtons, one of the last families to find out about their son's death.
The officer in charge should have called me as soon as he knew, so I didn't have to sit here and wonder and wonder and wonder. It was really, really hard.
Michael served in Iraq and found his heart for serving the country following the September 11th attacks.
He just kept saying, I want to be a Marine, I want to be a Marine, I want to be a Marine, I want to be a Marine.
He lived and breathed it the whole time before he got in. It's all he wanted.
His parents remembered him as a straight shooter and an honest man who cared for others.
Michael was so loving in his actions. If you asked him to do something, he would jump right to and help out anyone.
His happy, carefree, and sometimes goofy nature always coming out around his brother Jeremy.
And as soon as Jeremy and Michael saw each other, they started in with the arm punching and the leg punching.
And the thing where you make the circle and put it below your...
And if somebody looks at it, you can punch them. That's just the way that he was.
One of the most comforting parts during this difficult time, the outpouring of support by Michael's friends through Facebook. But no matter the comfort, Mary and Kyle will miss their son.
I don't know how we're going to get through this, but with God's help, we'll get through it.
Maine, known for its beautiful landscapes, abundance of wildlife, and its small-town living. Inside those tiny towns, one would be hard-pressed not to find a chapel or church adorning the New England landscape, but maybe more difficult to find someone sitting in the seats or pews that they hold. According to the most recent Pew Research study, only 34% of Mainers consider themselves highly religious, while only 22% attend worship services regularly. That's less than 1/4 of Maine's population. we hit the streets to put these statistics to the test.
Can I just ask you if you go to church or not?
I don't go.
I don't regularly.
Could I ask you why?
I just don't feel like it.
Yes, I do.
I'm not against organized religion.
My wife goes more frequently than I do.
I just really don't have time.
Based on our quick survey, we found those numbers to hold true.
Maine has always been a place that's prided itself on its individualism.
Husson University ethics and humanities professor Cliff Guthrie is a former Methodist minister, now turned non-believer. He says the answer for why people don't go to church is very complex, but can partly be traced back to the early years of the state's history.
When the first fur traders and loggers moved here, they were rough men and they were often, not very religious. But that doesn't mean it's completely irreligious. There is still a significant group of people who very, very strongly identify with their religious heritage.
My favorite part of my job is communicating the truth of Scripture to hungry people.
One of those people is Kirk Winters. He's a senior pastor at the Rock Church in Bangor and has been there for 12 years running. His church has seen significant growth over his time, but agrees New England is lagging behind other parts of the country in its church's population.
There were a lot of traditional churches here that kind of have let go of the gospel and embrace more of a cultural gospel, which is no gospel at all.
That gospel referring to the teaching of Jesus Christ in the New Testament as the church's core.
And as a result of that, I think many people have just kind of lost interest. The younger generation in particular isn't buying it.
It isn't necessarily the kinds of ideas that are discussed in church. It is the pomp and circumstance that doesn't resonate with younger people.
Doug Bunker is an atheist and member of the Down East Humanists and Free Thinkers group, who did not grow up with a highly churched background.
I have never had a particular interest in religion.
He says not only is the message not resonating with Maine's younger population, but he's seen many of his members leave the church because of bad experiences in the past.
They are coming from a background of family situation that was very difficult when they decided to leave a religion.
There are people who worry getting their name on some government list by showing up at the mosque frequently.
Islam makes up less than 1% of religious affiliation in Maine. Leaders say lack of worship attendance could be related to the politics of the day, but also because of other options for people to get together than in a place of worship.
Religion has taken a back seat to many more other forms of gatherings and entertainments.
There's nothing that the religious component gives folks that could not also be provided by the community of non-believers.
I think the reason that people say that is because they have had a bad experience in church and they're scared to try again. Just because you've had food, for example, at a restaurant that was bad, you didn't stop going to restaurants. You just didn't go back to that one.
We're not up there in the market to bend metal, we're up there to pass gas.
From one aircraft to another.
You guys all good up front? Everyone ready? Ready to go. Ready to go.
Staff Sergeant Eric Grass is able to successfully connect the flying boom with the C-5 aircraft, allowing him to now transfer fuel from the KC-135 to the C-5, traveling at speeds of around 530 miles per hour in the sky.
It's tough to explain for somebody. It's really just getting a feel for what both aircrafts are doing, and there's a lot of forces fighting against you.
He's bouncing around a little back here.
The process allows the C-5 to stay in the air longer and cut down on valuable time spent on the ground. Grass says the purpose for our training mission today is to make sure they're successful for when they do it for real. Boom operators also have other responsibilities besides fueling aircrafts, including cargo loading and passenger transport.
For humanitarian efforts and all that, it's a lot of cargo. We're bringing a lot of aid to places that need it.
And with large amounts of hurricanes and natural disasters happening in the past year, the Guard has completed a number of humanitarian missions delivering help to hurricane-ravaged areas in Puerto Rico.
I didn't join the Maine Air Guard not to help people. I'm a local grown boy, and I just always saw these planes flying around. I just like being part of the big picture of things here.
And I think that's what makes Maniacs great, the fact that we're willing to step up and do that anywhere in the world.
Stepping up is nothing new for the Maine Air Guard, having previously won the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award in 2014, and they're currently looking for exceptional men and women to join the team.
If you're ever looking for an opportunity to extend your career or maybe even serve your state of Maine, just come on out, ask some questions, we'll see what we can do for you. There's plenty of jobs out here.
Around 1,400 hours, we begin our descent back to the base.
20.
But rest assured, our experience with the Maniacs will be one we never forget.